Hello and welcome to the stream and number 6 of our digital homicides discussion stream. Let me stop this here. Lothar will join me in a moment as well because I'm not doing this alone. So let me get Lothar in here. Today's topic, by the way, is retro gaming and retro games in general. So hello Lothar.
Hi, Triton.
So I don't know where I should look. Should I look there or should I look there? I have no idea. It's so strange to stream with the cam. Okay, get the script because yes, people use the script.
Just look at the thing that we generously calling the script.
Yeah, it is a script. It's fine. Okay. Want to start? Didn't talk about that earlier.
eh,
What is
let's
retro?
just start with.
What is retro gaming, Lothar?
Actually, I don't know how to define it. Basically, retro gaming it's playing old games, old console games, old PC games, and the question that I kind of want to ask you: how far do you think is retro gaming? Where do you draw the line by saying this is retro gaming and this is not?
I would say everything that was up until maybe 5 years ago, or the last Windows generation, maybe. I would call it that.
You mean change of Windows generation?
Yeah, pretty much. It's the same with consoles. If there's a new console and you want to play older games, you kinda play retro games because they're not out on that actual new system. So yeah, kinda. Yeah, I would say maybe a maximum of 5 years ago. So all the games from the last 5 years are not really retro because most of them are still played, like Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, and a handful of other games.
Well, Counter-Strike Global Offensive still played because there is no Counter-Strike anymore. There is no new Counter-Strikes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, people still play Quake 2, but I wouldn't call that not retro gaming.
Yeah, Quake 2 is pretty much retro.
But games,
Well, for me, retro gaming.
Yeah, games
okay,
that are still updated, for example, those cannot be called retro gaming. Like Borderlands, for example, I wouldn't call that retro gaming. We would play Borderlands 1. That is already pretty old, relatively old.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, retro gaming, it's everything that ends on PlayStation 2. End of PlayStation 2 life cycle, it's retro.
Yeah, that's definitely, yeah.
PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 is just old games. It's not retro enough. At least for me.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
I can't call the Dead Space 1, 2, or 3 retro gaming because those are games from last generation. When PlayStation 5 came out, well, maybe, but not now.
That's true. that sounds reasonable.
Right now, well, as I said, everything that from the end of PS2 life cycle for me retro. Beyond that, not right now, not at this point.
Yeah, and you wouldn't. The thing is, with older games and not retro games, they aged really well, and the change from Unreal 3 to Unreal 4 is noticeable, but not that much. I mean, games with Unreal 3 engine, for example, still look really good if you max them out. And a game like Doom 3, which is, what is it, 14 years old or something?
Yeah, it
Um,
took 4, I think.
that game, I mean, that still looks really, really good, and when you mod it, it looks even better. So yeah, I think now the time span of games starting to look bad, it's much longer than it used to be in the past. Because since we have all those really good 3D graphics cards, and it was released 15 years ago, August 2004. um, so yeah, you cannot call that retro gaming.
Well, some of the older games actually aged well. Not only Unreal 3.
Yeah, every
For
game.
example, original Blood Rain actually still run good on modern system. Unlike Blood Rain 2.
Yeah, and games that are using pixel art, they age well anyway. Can
Yeah.
I?
Or cartoonish style like Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
You
Does
know
that work?
what we haven't done?
No.
We didn't apologize for starting like an hour late.
It's not an hour late. They changed time last weekend, so it is 9 a.m. EST.
Really?
Yeah. A week before it was different. Then
Okay, I checked time week before and that it was yeah, okay.
yeah, no.
That mean
You
this
would
time is kind of unexpected for me.
um so you did change from summer to winter
No,
time as well? No?
we don't change anymore.
Oh, you stopped changing. Ah, okay. Hey, congrats to a country that doesn't change the time anymore. You still have to wait at least 2 years or so because Europe.
I think we stuck in summertime. We used to be in winter time, but our politics were like, what the hell? Let it be winter time.
Okay.
No, we used to have winter summertime. No, we used to have winter time all the time, and now we have summertime all the time.
So what time is it now for you?
9 p.m.
Oh, so you're 1 hour ahead of me now. Okay. So I'm 6 hours ahead of EST and you are 6 hours ahead of me. Okay. Yeah, then maybe we will change the time because yeah, we talk really long and that happens sometimes. It gets really late for you then.
Most of the time,
Yeah.
currently.
I'm not sure if we have to rant really a lot today, so might be shorter.
Yeah, I find something to rant about, like a moment of silence for previous Steam library.
Oh, Steam Light. Yeah,
But that's another topic. Let's
let's
get
go
into
retro Steam library, please. Can we get retro Steam library, please?
yes, that
That
would
would
be
be,
good.
yeah. Okay, my green screen is kinda an ass right now. Okay, anyway. Um yeah, that's pretty much how we kinda define retro. Okay.
And that's going to bring us to meat of our conversation. Everything beyond everything but not games.
Uh yeah. Okay, so should I actually I could show that. I did copy this. The canon for the intro.
Yeah, I think more 30 seconds of one version and another are going to be a good enough indication of how it's different.
So yeah, comparing PCs or IBM compatible back then, the 80s and 90s, with the Amiga right now. Was it Amiga 500? I think. I should have gotten mine out. Mine is right behind me, but in a closet. So yeah, this is the MS-DOS version. And it's here. Yeah, that's an ad for Oculus. Hi, Oculus. God, I saw so many of those
Hi,
ads.
Carmack.
Damn. I think I saw that ad 20 times the last few weeks.
Basically, just by intro, we can see the difference. One have lyrics, one don't, one have really MIDI sound, and Amiga have a better sound.
Yeah, definitely. The music is awesome.
Also, Amiga version had smoother animations and better color scheme.
Yeah, the thing in the beginning of the PC, my very first PC was a 386 with 25 megahertz on turbo mode. I had a sound card. My sound card was I think it was Adlib back then. So it was shit. It could beep pretty good. But compared to the hi-fi sounds compared to it from the Amiga, God, when I played games at a friend's place and his Amiga, I was so jealous about the music. Yeah. 386 for the win. I had a joystick. I could attach a joystick to my first PC. Friends of mine couldn't.
So why are we actually bringing up stuff like Cannon Fodder on Amiga and MS-DOS? Well, it's not like a PC was always one wholesome platform.
No, back
True,
then.
it's not wholesome right now. It's Windows, Linux, and Apple. But back then, oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was mainly to work on a PC. I didn't get my PC back then to play on it. I mean, that was an added bonus. But I kinda worked on it and learned how to stuff on a PC. I was, what was it? 14, 15, something like that. I learned programming with 14, so first games on PC I played have been Space Quest 1 and 2, Test Drive on a 286 with EGA graphics, which looked really shit. Let me see if I... yeah, that was one of the first games I played with that music or with that audio. That was the audio we had on the PC back then. Yeah, that's supposed to be the motor, the engine, and yeah, that was the first.
Well, at least it sounds better than Atari to 2600, I think.
I think there was, okay, yeah, Test Drive 2 was on the Amiga and looked much better. This was the Oculus, seriously.
Just show us a freaking Carmack in Oculus ads.
Yeah. So this is from Test Drive 2, but you hear the difference. I mean, you can see it as well. So yeah, those were the beginnings of my PC gaming career. But I started gaming in the 70s with Pong, the original Pong. And then I had an Atari PC S2600. I still have one. It's not mine from back then, but I still have one. But yeah, was that Bad Apple? That's here. Let's compare the Commodore 64 with the Amiga Bad Apple.
And Amiga also Commodore line of PCs.
Yeah, that's true. Never played that game.
It's not a game.
Oh, that's one of the... Ah, okay. Yeah, it's a coding demo. A friend of mine back in the 90s was part of one of the best C64 coding groups called Crest. It was the first group that was capable of doing a 3-screen scroll picture, which is technically impossible on a Commodore 64 because you can only render one frame basically. And they managed to scroll up and down one screen each, and they showed a pin-up of a woman. Hey Omega, welcome. How you doing?
Hi Omega. And yeah, Bad Apple looks a little bit more impressive, but doesn't sound like it.
The difference in the rendering and the audio. From when is that demo?
I think date of publication is should be correct.
From 2014?
Yeah, something like that.
Because I know that song.
Yeah, song is actually new. I can actually pinpoint when it was released, and actually I think I said the bot played several times.
That demo is pretty cool actually. Really nice. If you think about the Amiga 500 and the C64 are from the 90s, and this is insane what you see right now. If you had one of those computers and just that swirling animation, holy shit, that is awesome. I know a lot
Bad
about.
Apple is a song from 2009.
Yeah, I have been to a few demo conventions and I know a little bit about how they're done and what they do and what they address and stuff. So seeing this is awesome. I was more into the PC coding scene, but this is really insane. You know the capabilities of the Amiga 500, and you see this is crazy animation.
Triton.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, let's stop that. Retro gaming is awesome, but games that look retro is fun too.
No, I mean you put fifth discussional stream in the title.
Oh, that didn't update then. I did correct that earlier. Support. It's here. I did correct that. I have it right in my OBS, but I think it did. See, I just have to paste it. I had to change that. I just pasted what I had. So, Okay, thanks Omega.
Yeah, okay, you can continue with that demo thing. Anyway, it's retro stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, this shows what is possible still. I mean, there are still games coming out for old systems like the Commodore, the Amiga, even for wasn't there an SNES cartridge out last year or 2 years ago or so? So you
Oh
could
yeah.
get a new game for the Super Nintendo system.
Also, I think there is a Bad Apple demo for NES.
Really?
Yeah, those guys making port doing this demo for basically anything, for calculators, for old PCs, for consoles.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Yeah, this is
This
the second popular thing to do besides porting Doom on everything.
that's crazy. And it sounds really good. Even compared to the PCs from back then, the Super Nintendo had better audio. It sounds awesome. Okay, now I really want to see how that looks on the Atari 2600. How
You mean Bad
insane
Apple?
how insane is it to code a demo for the first home console basically? Where you could change the games. That's crazy. And it is always identically the same animation.
Because there is a source material and they copying the source material.
Yeah, but even the audio on the Atari sounds really good. Crazy. Yeah, that is. I guess that was the Atari ST. Insane. Totally insane. Okay. Anyway, yeah, those are the different changes in the generations.
Yeah, and this demo actually really good to show capability of older consoles and well, old platforms.
Was always used as benchmarks on PCs as well. So the better your PC was, the faster or the more smooth the demos were running.
Okay, let's go to the next stuff about
Yep.
pre-Windows.
Then let's go to our DOSBox. So if you want to play really old games, like the games that I grew up with,
At least for IBM PC.
yeah, for IBM compatible, exactly. You need DOSBox. DOSBox kind of emulates the original MS-DOS, which was what I had before there was Windows, and I did use Windows 3.11, but it was shit, and you couldn't play games really on it. Played games with DOS. I even played the original Tomb Raider on DOS, and I was one of those people saying, Windows, no, I don't need that. 95, no, stay away with that. I don't need that. But yeah, when CDs came out and games made use of that, I kinda had to change. But I was kinda hardcore MS-DOS user. But if you want to use MS-DOS games today, I guess if you're using Windows 10, there's no other way to use DOSBox, I guess. With older Windows, they might actually possible to run with the included DOS, because up to XP there was full MS-DOS included. So you could use MS-DOS programs with those. That's when it started to begin with compatibility mode and stuff like that.
And there's a lot of good games for DOS, like Dune 2.
Yeah.
You can see that smiley face. Too bad you can't buy Dune 2.
But you can play it. Is it? Where?
Dune. I said Dune.
Dune. Dune. Ah, yeah, Dune. Yeah, Dune and Dune 2000 was part 2, I think. Yeah, that was a DOS game. Another really good game from Bitmap Brothers was Gods. I know, funny that I say that, but that was a really good action platformer, also for DOS. There is a version that runs with Windows now. There was a port or something, fan port. So, should play that one day. When I played it the first time again after 20 years, because I was in the mood for it, and I found it, I I remembered almost all the secrets from the beginning areas, which is crazy. I mean, I played it so much. We didn't have that many games on PC back then, and there was no internet, and yeah, as a kid or teenager, you didn't have that much money. So yeah. The thing is, sometimes you have games that normally would run under Windows because they were developed with Windows, like XP. But if you try to play them today, might end up the game that's not working. And that's where you can use the compatibility mode for XP, for example, or for Windows 7 or something like that. But yeah, sometimes.
Well, it's not guarantee.
No, that's no,
that
there's
it
no
will
guarantee.
work.
You can try, but.
Speaking of Windows not compatible with Windows, there is one DLL library that was, well, let's say if you try to play Knights of the Old Republic, any first game or the second game with this DLL library in game folder, the game will crash. It won't run at all. You should delete this library if you want to play this game. And I would be more specific if I actually remembered the name of the set library.
Yeah.
What was that exactly? Oh yeah, Turok, for example, and other games that require 3D FX cards. You can't play those games without, with NVIDIA or IT card. AMD right now. What is it exactly? SWAT 3. Well, SWAT 3 have a lot of problems with it, so you definitely need to patch it if you want to play it on a modern system, including 3D FX card emulation, or what's that? 3D FX card graphic tool. But also, this game uses .iv videos. .iv not supported by the Windows anymore. The game will crash if you not change format of those videos in something that Windows understand.
Yeah, there are guides to change to XVID, I think it was. Because yeah, that AVI format that is used, yeah, I'm not sure if you could install codecs for that manually, but Windows itself cannot do it. And I wanted to install.
Windows
I
cannot
wanted.
do it, but players still can do it.
Okay.
For some reasons.
Yeah, I wanted to install what was it, MPEG 2 encoder for Windows 10, And I have a few folders like documents and videos and stuff, not on my system drive. I have it on my second drive. And Windows said, set that to standard again, so that regular apps can be installed on C2. And because I have my game folders for Windows, for the Windows Store, also on a different drive, and that's where the store apps are installed. And I cannot install the MPEG-2 folder, so I cannot watch that. So I have to do that manually with an external codec, but the internal Windows codec not for me when I not change the system back. So much for compatibility of video formats and Windows. To change too much in your system, I change a lot because I'm an admin by heart. Yeah, you're fucked sometimes.
There also something that we can decide that how to put it. Prototype 2. Basically, when I had Windows 7 with AMD Phenomenon triple core processor, Prototype 2 worked fine, but on Windows 10, quad core AMD processor, it's refused to work. I don't know how I even made it to run, but when I made it to run, it appears that at least on Windows 10, the game either doesn't work or barely work with multi-core CPU. You should turn off all of those cores manually if you want to make this game work properly.
Yeah, and I know it doesn't work because, as you can see, I have it and I have 0.1 hours on it just from starting it and trying different workarounds. And yeah, I have an 8 core and I had a 6 core before, and I'm not deactivating cores to play one freaking game, even though I would like to play it. Prototype 1, no problems, you can play that. That doesn't have any issues. Something I don't understand.
And
But
Prototype 2 is broken.
yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but okay.
Well, I somehow managed to run this game, but when I came into this, well, basically when I hit this wall that I should deactivate cores, I was like, nope, that doesn't worth it. I'm not playing this game anymore.
Yeah, same for me. I'm not doing that. I mean, kind of pisses me off that I cannot play it, but maybe I will not do that, but maybe, and we get to that part a little bit later, actually in moments. Maybe I built an old PC for old games with Windows XP or something on it, but so I want to do so much stuff and I don't do that already, so I'm not sure if I rebuild an old PC. But I could.
Well, actually, old PCs kinda. Well, we're kinda supposed to talk about them right now.
Exactly.
Old hardware.
So yeah, the thing is, as we mentioned before, if you have an old PC, for example, with a 3DFX graphics card, you can play games that were originally designed and developed for 3DFX. 3DFX was not external, but was an add-on card to your regular Office graphics card, because back then there were no 3D accelerators. So you had that as another card, which was kind of expensive back then. One of the first games that was remade or optimized for 3DFX was Tomb Raider, and I finished it in a DOS version, pixelated textures, and then I finished it in the FX PC version. Nice, what was it, linear filter or something like that, but it wasn't really blocky that much anymore. But yeah, a few games, if you want to have them the right way, you need an old PC. Joystick, for example, and joysticks are kind of dead these days. Only flight simulator sticks, maybe.
Well, why do you need to? Why you need joystick if you can just plug Xbox controller or through
Because
some tech factory make a PlayStation controller works?
because flying a helicopter with a joystick is so much better. People
Yeah,
back
I'm
then,
can't argue with that.
when I played Battlefield 2 and I played it a lot back then, I had my joystick in front of me and I was playing with keyboard and mouse regular, and then I switched to my joystick and people hated me. I was flying pretty good with that joystick. I still have it and didn't use it for 10 years or so. It was a Microsoft Sidewinder, and the stick could be turned left and right as well. So that was just awesome. So yeah, people hated me
Yeah,
back then.
we was kind of talking about original hardware. And that includes not only 3DFX, but also original consoles and hardware that capable of running old operational systems, not only 3DFX Voodoo cards.
Yeah, I could rebuild PCs starting from my first 386 to pretty much every generation of Windows PC that was out back then. So I could just
Well,
install from
that's
disk.
you.
I could install from disk. Yeah, but if you don't have that stuff, rebuilding an old PC with original hardware can become quite cost intensive. Because we have one example here. The 3DFX Voodoo 3 sells for around $100, and if you're really lucky, you might become the package with it, but sometimes you don't. You get a bare bone card, and you have to hope that it works. And you would get a 1050 Ti for around $80. So
Well, that was an auction. If you really lucky, you can get it around $80,
yeah,
somewhere around
let's say 100. So
125.
it's basically the same price for an age difference of over 20 years.
Yeah, and the 1050 Ti is still pulling itself up in this today gamings. I
Definitely.
have a first-hand experience with 1050 Ti.
They have the 1060. So. But yeah. So yeah, rebuilding stuff with old hardware can be kind of tricky. The problem is also
Also buying first-party controllers if you actually want those things.
yeah, when it comes to original controllers for your old console, if you want to buy a Super Nintendo controller, I actually wait a second.
You can actually buy a replica. There is a lot of those things.
Yeah, I know, but if you want to buy it original, the only original I think you can get new at the moment are those here, or this here. We're coming to that later. So this is an original Nintendo. Yep. But for the original Super Nintendo, I don't think you can buy that from Nintendo directly anymore. And you have to get third-party controllers because there's not a way. What you can still buy new is 360 controllers. Those are sold and still cost
Kinda.
too much. It could be cheaper by now.
Well, there's a lot of replica of 360 controllers, but yeah, their life cycle. You better buy a X1 controller.
Yeah, for some generations, for the PC, for example, would need an old school joystick because there was something called GamePort back then. It was mostly on the sound card and looked a bit like a serial connector with a lot of holes in it. So for an old PC, if you want to rebuild an old PC like a 486 or something like that, a joystick and controllers can be a real problem. So those are maybe tricky to find. Might get a CPU and stuff like that, but controllers and like that. I still have my
Especially working controllers.
I still have my very first joystick and my very first keyboard. My keyboard is right here on some shit. And my joystick, I don't even know. That was I had that somewhere. But still have it in working condition. But yeah, buying old consoles, depending on the console, can be cheap, can be expensive. If you want to have special versions of the Nintendo 64, for example, you can pay hundreds of dollars. The original Super Nintendo or original NES, they sell for much cheaper with a whole bunch of games. If you want to buy
Well,
old games in new condition,
there is actually a lot more replica consoles for NES and SNES.
yeah, sure, because they were just produced the last few years in the millions, but you can still get an original Super Nintendo for $50 or so. So original console can be cheap, but yeah, since we're talking about that, this one here has 20 games on it. It's the European version. That's why it looks a bit rounded. The US version was more blocky. Same with the Japanese version. So I think the European version from the Super Nintendo looked the best back then. But you have 21 games on that. So you have your cartridge port up here, which is obviously not working. But you can also just attach it with HDMI. You don't have to attach it with an AV port or AV plug. I will and I can stream old school consoles because I have an Elgato where I can actually attach the original Super Nintendo on my HDMI monitor. Because that's another
Nice.
problem with you have a new TV and old console. The problem is those consoles were released in a time where you had CRT and they had different resolution, and if you use them on a new LCD, the problem is the scaling. That is one problem. And if you want to use the original light gun for the Nintendo, play that Duck Hunt game,
You basically should use CRT.
yeah, you cannot. It's technically impossible to play those games without special hardware on an LCD TV. There are light guns out at the moment, but you have a bar or something like that where it works a little bit more like the Wii. But back then it worked through the TV. So that's also something you have to keep in mind. That sometimes it's good to get the old school TV out of the basement and maybe use that for old consoles, because it doesn't matter if you have a 4K TV or not. The higher the resolution, the worse old consoles and old games look on them.
Also, refresh rate.
Yeah.
European versions used to have.
We have 50 hertz
What
here.
was that?
50, around 50 is here for PAL, and NTSC, the US standard, was 60.
Yeah.
And Japan
I
was...
don't remember. They used Japan NTSC as well.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that is 60. That was a problem. When I was in the United States, I taped a ton of TV shows. And when you wanted to watch them here, nope. It didn't really work. First, you needed an NTSC capable recorder, and yeah, I couldn't watch any of those tapes. I still have them, but I cannot watch them. Just bad, because they were really nice shows. Anyway.
Yeah, basically, having a good platform good original platform to play old games is expensive, let's say.
Yeah, can be expensive, and depending on what system it is,
And what
also
region you are from.
yeah, it's also a thing about space, because when you need an CRT TV, yeah, those are cubes basically. So you need that space.
Also, games. Some games, let's say not all old games are cheap. For example, can you open up those
Yep. I have the PlayStation
links
2
that I
page
gave you?
open.
Yeah, okay. So,
Starts with GTA San Andreas, and that costs new £38, which is around 45 euros, I think, and around dollars, I guess. You can get it
you
from.
didn't put it on stream.
Oh, I did. Oh, wait. Boing. There we go.
Yeah, I was waiting when it's going to appear, and
Okay. Sorry. That's my stupid face. I'm sorry. And the funny part is, you can buy San Andreas for 74 pence, basically, used. But the thing with used discs is always, how many scratches are on them? Are there scratches on them? Will it even work?
will there be a box, manual, and something like that?
That is sold by Rockstar directly. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like one of those unsold copies.
Yeah, and Rockstar basically could just say, we still produce that, because why not? We still have it. We still make money with it. That was for free in the Rockstar launch, and I didn't get it.
I didn't get it as well because I have it on PlayStation 2 and on Steam.
Yeah, I think I didn't had it on Steam, I'm not sure. But yeah, getting original games in original quality or new quality, that is expensive. Depends on the
Not
game.
as expensive as some other games. Can you open up Persona?
Wait, yeah, the 150. Only one left, so if you want to have that, get it now.
Yeah, that's a PAL version, by the way. If
And
you're from Europe and you own PlayStation 2 from European region, you basically bound to this copy.
yeah, and I'm fucked because they are not selling to Germany. So yeah, womp womp womp. No
I can
Persona.
buy it, but not for that price.
Yeah, no, not really. But hey, you can get it used for $10 lower. I mean, it saves you $10. You do pay 15 delivery, but hey, or pounds. That's the pay page.
Same thing can be said about PlayStation 1 as well. So there is really cheap games and there is a really expensive one, like Mortal Kombat 1. No. Mortal Kombat 4. Like, why? It's Mortal Kombat 4.
And some games you cannot even buy new, you can only buy them used. In most of the old games, much every old. Hey, you can get Chrono Cross for only $7.85.
Yeah, and open up Mortal Kombat 4 to show the difference.
Did you? Oh, okay.
By the way, Mega, yes, I really want to see a remake of Ultimate Spider-Man.
What?
Mortal Kombat 4.
£51 delivery. Are you crazy? Come on. Holy shit, you pay $160 just delivery over 50. What the hell is wrong with people? Seriously.
Well, looks like it might be a new copy. That's why it's so expensive.
Yeah, but then it has to be really packaged like there's glass inside or something, you know? Here the Mortal Kombat collection goes for $189. Because why not? Oh, Mortal Kombat Gold for the Dreamcast. Oh, that's a sale. That's a bargain with £57. I have a Dreamcast. I should buy that game. There was also a game on Android called Ultimate Spider-Man Totally Mayhem. I'd like to see that game on console with most of it. Yeah, there are some games, and we're not we're not really covering retro gaming on phones or tablets, but a few things do work on those devices. Like, um, yeah, we get to emulators later. Mainly emulators, so let's talk about that later. But it's possible to retro game on phones. Okay, what
I think
else?
we can just grab PSP one that I mentioned. The last one, the last link. Skip Japanese import.
Yeah, the mobile version for the PSP. Only £100. Oh no, it's 99.99. Not 100. 9.99.
Yeah, and I can think you can see the pattern. Most of the expensive games is obscure Japanese games. Well, besides Mortal Kombat 4.
Yeah, because those games were hard to get already, and
And the funny thing is, only for Europe. In America, they much cheaper.
oh really? Okay, let me.
Well, you can open up a Persona 3 link again.
Yeah, I can just
For
go
example.
on the US page. Uh, Persona 2 is $150 for the PSP. I wouldn't call that cheaper.
Okay, for PSP, Persona 2 is stupidly cheap. But I mean, Persona 3 is kinda around $20.
But that's. Oh, here. Oh, the PSP version of Persona 3 is $220. Wow.
Yeah,
Holy
some
shit.
games are really obscure and hard to get. If you didn't buy them when they were new and in the store, Yeah, too bad. You can't do that right now without spending a lot more.
Sometimes I thought about games I saw and I could have gotten cheap. Should I just get it to sell it one day? But I was burnt with a few of the games I bought, so I never did it again. But seeing that, oh my god, seriously, if you would have just imported that for $20 or $30 or so back then, you could really make a shit ton of money with that. So, okay.
Yeah, and there is some people who want to get those games. I mean, I used to, let's say, not so legit patches for my PSP to play undapped version of Persona 3 Portable. But I really would like to have a physical copy.
Yeah, the
But
thing,
not for that price.
yeah, the thing about the physical copy, it is sold by the developer, so son of a
Really?
bitch. Yeah,
Atlas?
yeah, that's sold by the developer itself, so and it would cost me $280 to get it here. 50 $50 shipping for a package like this size. It's not like get
Smaller.
something like this, like something big that weighs something. I mean, what does a PSP cartridge or disc is this big? It's nothing. So, yeah, wow. Holy shit. Let me see if I find that on the German page.
Are you sure you saw it on English page and that was expensive there?
Um, the other ones are also sold by Atlus directly. Um, 127 euros.
Well, it's cheaper than
I should
212.
I should get it and sell it to this A. Hey, just been a welcome, welcome. So
Hey,
yeah, buy it
Bene.
here. Okay, it's a used one, so used
First of
127.
all, it's used one. Second of all, it's German region. Oh, it's a European region. PSP has
Vision lock.
region lock as well.
Ah, schau mich nicht an. Ja, hallo. Jetzt auch mit Kamera. Yeah. Okay, that was that. Hint. Expensive. Okay, from original expensive games to what we showed earlier, retro consoles and stuff. Damn it, my hair. That shit.
Well, basically, to playing with original games on original hardware, yeah, it's really expensive hobby.
There we go. I have those links open. All
That's
right.
why some manufacturers decided to create a official retro consoles. Fuck that classic.
As you can hear,
Specifically, fuck that classic.
Lothar is really a fan of this retro console. He really likes that.
I
So
grew up with this.
yeah, so this is, it looks like the original, but it is 1/4 of the size or so. So it's really tiny. But that's one way to get the in quotes original with a handful of original games.
They even used original Joy controllers instead of first DualShock.
Yeah, that's true. No analog sticks.
Why?
You didn't need them for those games.
You can use them in Siphon filters, at least.
Yeah, you can use them in Destruction Derby as well, but yeah, that was the original. So
Metal
no
Gear
sticks.
also.
That's how we grew up, kids. That's how we grew up. We didn't even had analog sticks. I mean, we had joysticks back in the past, but they got rid of that because
That was an arcade past.
buttons are enough. Just need buttons for the direction. I hated the PlayStation controller. I hated it because I had a freaking analog stick on a Nintendo 64 controller. So, Sony. What's going on with my screen today?
It's derping around.
Yeah, kinda. It has to do with my light. Did I change my light somehow? Ah, fixed it. Okay. Um, let me change this again. Boing. So this is what I got, and I streamed with it a few weeks ago. Yeah, this is the size of the Super Nintendo Mini. The original was
A little bit bigger.
that wide, I think. Yeah, four times the size basically. So yeah, the funny thing is they even have the original ports on it, kinda. I mean, you cannot use them, but that's how they looked. And today they are pretty much the newer ones. I think you can attach this to the GameCube. Yeah, that was from the GameCube. Ah. So you can use those as extra controller if you have the original GameCube.
If original GameCube actually will understand this controller.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You could also attach. Okay, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think you could attach the N64 controllers. I'm not sure. I have the GameCube somewhere. But yeah, let me shoot this again. And script. Okay, so that was that. And we also have some other stuff going on.
Like non-official re-releases of consoles.
It doesn't have anything to do that it is a page from Russia. It could also be a page from China.
Or Europe or America. It's just a particular one that I found.
And I just wanted to say we didn't have those here. So it's kind of hard to get non-original consoles here in Germany. I mean, you can get them through
It's
the internet,
hard, but it's possible.
yeah, it is. And we also had those really, really shit consoles, but just a few years ago with 180 games, and they're really they're worse than NES era games. So shit, doesn't cost much, but
Well, at least those replica consoles can run original games.
what is this? 30 euros or something like that?
Uh,
35.
Can you talk a little bit while I'm
Okay.
running this a little?
So this is one way to do it, but there's also I have that.
$34.
Ah, okay, I see. Not that bad. So this is the unofficial with 107 games on it. And this would be... Oh wait, that was the Genesis. Yeah, here. Genesis was the Mega Drive, right?
Yeah, Mega Drive and Genesis
Yeah.
one thing.
Okay. We also had a different one here in Europe. Wait, I actually grab that? Oh no, I cannot. My green screen is in front of it. This is also located right behind me. I have a closet behind me with a shit ton of stuff in it. So the original or the official one costs 73 euros. And you get, what, 40 games with it. Plus 2 bonus games that haven't been released back then, I think. On the Nintendo Mini, there is Star Fox 2 on it. Or was it Star Fox 2? I think it was Star Fox 2. A game that was
Star
not...
Fox 2 wasn't released.
Yeah, was not released on the original console. Then let me grab the other one. This here. The other one that you sent me. It's kind of bad that you cannot see the games that are included.
Originals NES games. Basically, it's always 8 or 10 games. I don't know how it's now, but back then it was like 6 to 8 games. First Super Mario Brothers, Battle City, maybe Duck Hunt, Contra. What was that? Lunar Ball.
So if you look at this console and
Something like that.
then you look at this, you kinda see the similarities where it comes from.
Also capable of running of original NES games.
The cool thing about the Japanese version that wasn't German version, this is the European version, the gray one, and the red one is the original Japanese version where you could plug your controllers to the side of it. So completely different. When I saw it the first time 10 years ago, I was like, what? That would have sold much better here, I think. But yeah, we had this here was the tray where you put the cartridges in, and in the Japanese you just plugged it in on top. I don't know why that the European version is that huge compared to the Japanese one.
I don't know as well. We always had top loader consoles. We had like 8 or 7 different clone consoles of NES, all under different brands. But Dandy, oh boy, that exists from, I think it exists from 1991.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's pretty impressive.
This console exists from 90s. They still manufacture it. They still used outdated output. Well, I don't know why the fuck they used 6-button controllers, because 4 of those buttons are turbo buttons.
Okay. More power! But they look
I can
really cheap.
select.
Oh god, they look so cheap. I don't even want to press any of those buttons.
Yeah, they cheap.
And the cool thing is, totally ergonomic, because yeah, you're positioning your thumb here, right? No, you don't, but I know
Again,
what they thought.
I don't
mean,
see a select button. That one of those. This is one of those Chinese redesigns.
yeah,
We used to have a lot of controllers like that, when they put a select button out, start button out, select and start button out. What was that? Again, like they put 2 additional buttons, they put 8 additional buttons, and they were crazy.
more buttons, more buttons. Yeah, but
Yeah.
even the original Super Nintendo is more ergonomic when you look at it. Your fingers are just where they belong. But with 6 in that direction, I don't know. Okay. Oh, almost dropped my freaking bottle. Damn, that was too close. That shocked me more than a jump scare in a game, because it happened a few times this year already when I was raging and hitting my desk. The freaking bottle is located maybe 2 centimeters from the edge, so I keep my bottles open so I don't have to open and close them all the time. So yeah, if an open bottle drops down and even if it lands on the lower part, stuff gets out, like a lot. So it's good that I don't have a carpet. So what's kind of strange, that in the UK the Super Nintendo Mini is sold for 123 pounds. It's cheaper in Germany. I paid around 70 or 75 for mine. Oh, you cannot get it. Can get it new for 150. What? Are they insane? Yeah, okay. I'm happy with mine because mine came with where is it? Mine got this included. So I got an HDMI cable extra, which is not included with the console. So I'm happy about that. And the original NES Mini goes for 42. That's strange. Okay, we
Well,
have
basically, why we actually started talking about this, you don't need original hardware to play those things. You can buy replica hardware.
yeah, and you can or you might be able to play other games on those consoles as well if stuff with them. So yeah,
Not actually legal stuff.
that's why we don't really get too much into the details, but you can hack pretty much any hardware on this planet, and yeah, you can also stuff with those. So if you if you look for it, you find ways. We were
But
talking about it earlier.
replica hardware is not the only stuff how you can play those things.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually the next thing on our list. I just wanted to show the C64 has a mini version as well. I still don't understand why there are two prices, but uh, this one comes out in December. This one is already out, so I have no idea. That's this joystick was the best ever. Quickjoy. Oh, I missed that. Missed that thing. That was insane. That's all we needed. A stick and two buttons. Didn't need any more. Okay, anyway. So those were the official and unofficial retro consoles. Now we're getting into how do you play console stuff on your PC? Because
And
we're
not only console stuff, because
pretty much anything.
the Doom actually not that for the console. Oh yeah, PCSX2. I actually followed PCSX development for 3 years, I guess, till they hit version 1.0. That was, well, that was fascinating to see how my total legit copy of undapped Persona 4 became running a little bit better with every update.
Mm-hmm. It looks really nice. That's Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I think it's Kingdom. It might be Kingdom Hearts 2. I can't tell. I haven't seen
Yeah,
the
up
first
to
game
I
in a
have no
while.
idea about the number. I just know that it is the Kingdom Hearts series. I didn't play that many. I played the second one. I'm not sure about that. Remember when we
I played first
stick
and
into
I
a hut?
have second on the disc.
Oh my god, I still remember where we didn't even had a stick, just buttons. There was nothing else. There were buttons or something a dial. That's what we had back in the day. I played Pong with something that you turned left and right to make your racket or whatever you want to call that pixel line, or that line made out of 3 blocks or something to hit that other block that came from the other side. So we had to.
I might be actually the only one here who from 90s.
I think Luneko as well. Hi Luneko, how you doing? You still
Hello there.
you still play with your stick and button. I yeah, I don't even mind that comment.
I'm watching too much hentai.
Ah, Luneko. Ah. Yeah, so that's the PlayStation emulator. Did I open the other ones? Something. Yeah, it's still this open. I'm freezing. It's 0 Celsius out. Did you check what it is in Celsius, or is that in Fahrenheit? No, Fahrenheit. That would be so 0. Yeah, it's around 4 degrees here. I wanted to check. Yeah, that's just to show that's what I had when I was a kid. I played with this. Yep.
Yeah, I'm watching art
Okay.
on a regular basis. I saw a lot of old consoles.
So okay. Um, did I close the? I think it's the other one. Yeah, I was on the same page, I guess. Okay. So you get pretty much emulators for any old console.
Oh yeah.
Hey, how do I say that name?
You don't say that name.
Nice
You
one.
don't say that name.
Nice one, Ice. Nice one. See, I am one of those streamers reads the name first, tries to figure out how I would say it, and I don't fall for that. But that's a good one. That was a really good one. Hi, thanks for the follow. Ah, you troll. Thanks for for the follow and welcome to the derp side. And I'm derpy when I play games. I'm not that derpy, but that was a good one. Seriously. How many didn't fall for that? Because the number of people who fall for that is definitely higher. But no, not with me. But really nice one. Okay, anyway, for some emulators, it took a long time to be capable to emulate an old, outdated hardware on a new computer system, basically. Because
Actually, PlayStation 2, PSX2, PCSX2, and Dolphin still in development. They still struggling with emulating games from that generation. It's
yeah,
not exclusive for just all hardware.
a lot of emulators get continued support because a few games are not working because they used a certain kind of rendering mode or something that is just not
Yeah.
used on a PC. So you have to emulate the hardware, like the CPU, the graphics card, and all that kind of stuff. But you also have to emulate the operating system of those consoles. So that is really hardcore. With today's hardware, just from the power of it, it is capable of emulate pretty much anything from the past if the emulator is capable enough, but the power isn't the problem anymore.
Also, if hardware is working properly, you can open Wine tab right now. Linux doesn't have a commercial releases for commercial drivers, at least from NVIDIA for sure. NVIDIA haven't released any driver official driver for Linux.
NVIDIA? No, there's official Linux support from NVIDIA.
Zero. Linus Torvalds still hate them.
But
All drivers for NVIDIA are community-made drivers. So basically, even if your PC is capable of running one of the other games,
there are drivers
there's a
for
problem
Linux
with
for 64-bit. There are Linux drivers. For older systems, yeah, okay. For older, not. But for 64-bit Linux, you get NVIDIA drivers.
yeah, there is a problem. There is a whole family trees in 32 bits, like Ubuntu and everything that comes after down the same family line. They working in 32 bits.
Yeah. I had one. What was it called? SUSE. I bought that actually. I paid for that. So yeah, open source, but not for free.
Well, GNU-GPL is allowed that.
Yeah, so Wine is basically the Windows emulator
Wine
for
is not an emulator.
yeah, Wine is. I know. That's the reason why I said it like that. But you basically make Windows apps and games capable of running under Linux, and that works since the 90s already. I saw our Linux freaks back in company I was working for. He was playing PC games on Linux, and I was like, "Wait a second, you don't have Windows. How do you?" Then he showed me, "Yeah, that's fine. There's no problem. Yeah, I just started, then I start this, and look how it's running." I was like, okay, nice."
My
He could play.
brother used to have a Linux PC, so oh boy, he fucked a lot with drivers and something like that.
Yeah, the funny thing was capable of playing games I wasn't capable of playing because I had to use Windows NT 4. Was it 4.0 or 4.5? I don't know anymore, but it was NT4. And that was not really capable of playing games. Could play solitaire and what was Minesweeper.
And you can't play those games in Windows 10.
Mhm. Okay, yeah,
Oh, too bad.
so that's basically emulating Windows under Linux. I'm not sure if you can emulate Apple OS or Mac OS.
I don't think so, but yeah, Apple don't have games that Windows doesn't
Oh,
have.
actually, oh, you can emulate the newer ones with a trick, because the thing is, Apple used a special hardware dongle in their systems, so the operating system checks for that hardware piece. If that is not in your computer, there is no way of starting it because the operating system knows it is not an Apple Macintosh, for example. But there are ways to install I don't know which version, but some macOS on laptops is possible, and even more easy today than in the past, because now it is computer, or it's PC hardware basically. Back in the 90s, they still used different hardware, but then they started to go the Intel way, and that's why I say there is no, for me personally, there is no Mac directly anymore.
You know, there is a girl who's studying with me in university, and she have a MacBook, but she, with a friend, hacked MacBook to install Windows on it. And she still treats that MacBook like it's superior to Windows PC.
I mean, the hardware itself, like the case of a MacBook, and um,
It's
that
not
is
that much new of a MacBook. I think it's one that was advertised like screen is a wholesome aluminum case, but it actually a two aluminum plates glued together.
okay.
I think that this is that one.
Okay, but yeah, the quality, not when it comes to shattering displays, because the displays are shit from Apple. Um, the quality itself and how do you say that? The craftsmanship of hardware also back in the past. The Mac G4, for example, was awesome. It was such a beautiful and thought out case. It was insane. We had nothing like that for the PC. But the G4 was really an awesome graphics workstation, basically. So I can understand why you would put Windows in a MacBook, because a MacBook, from um, the haptics, the way it feels and looks, yeah, if you don't want to, you already paid a lot, or if you had it, yeah, I see the benefits of that, using that.
And if you think that MacBook is in any way, case or form, is superior to any Windows PC, check out the videos from the man who actually fixing those things.
Yeah, I will check that out later.
Yeah, it's not it's just as a recommendation.
Okay. Back to emulators. You can also emulate arcade machines. So if you ever wanted to play, let's say, the original Mortal Kombat series, or wait, what?
Street Fighter.
Yeah, what? Let me think about something that was not released on a PC or console. Um,
Let's say Metal Slug because it's running like shit on consoles. I don't know about PC port, but Metal Slug on consoles running really poorly.
I think it's not that bad on PC, but yeah, pretty much every other game was also ported at one point. Even those bullet hell games. What is kind of hard play or use these days are the games.
I don't like bullet hell games that ported from arcade machines. They have difficulty of we want your money. We don't care how you gonna play this, but we want your money. They looks good though, but
Yeah,
they really hard.
yeah, it depends, I guess. I mean,
Let me pick one bullet hell game.
yeah, Raiden
Uh,
is one of the normal bullet hell games from back then. Not like those crazy games from the 2000s. Don't remember one name from them, but it started with games like this in consoles. But if you want to have the original look and feel, the port will not do the trick. The MAME emulator, but then you also need to get the sadly illegal ROMs. So if you don't have that arcade machine next to you, um, yeah, it's kind of hard to get the ROMs. But we're also not explaining that, because we had that in the piracy episode already. So if you want to know more about that and why it is illegal and stuff like that, you can watch that in the collection. We have the last 4 episodes in there. Sadly, not the first one. Bit pissed about that. But that Raiden, this is actually a game I played with a friend of mine in the arcades before we went uh, to the discotheque party. I know that because I used that shot. That shot was pretty nice. And we were playing Time Cop and what else? Is it House of Zombies or something? But playing those with a mouse is just not the same.
Yeah, that's why I'm playing those things with the controller.
Yeah, even with the controller, it's not the same.
That game.
But you can play light gun games on LCDs these days. So 23 Canadian. Okay. Huh? Oh, really? That okay? I would not have guessed in 100 years that this is a shooting game. I would have thought that's a card game. What am I looking at here? Then I read vertical shoot 'em up. I'm like, huh? What? Where's the shoot 'em up in this
Let
game?
me drop something more.
No, there's a video. There's a video.
No, I mean
I
something
hate.
more recognizable.
Okay, I hate games that promote themselves with their stupid intro crap, where you have people dancing around. It's a shooting game. You're not playing that for freaking characters.
Well, say it to everyone who played Toho.
Yeah. Oh, that's not that crazy, actually.
Yeah, you haven't played it.
No, I haven't played it, but
You know that I can share this with you.
Well, then I guess it was Toho that I was checking. Yeah, that this game is just insane. I mean, seriously. Sometimes you have maybe 5% of screen left where you can go, which is nothing.
You can just type Toho lunatic for that.
Yeah, I'm having 8 open now.
Yeah, actually lunatic. Yeah, I see. Toho 8, I think.
Yeah, that was 8. Oh my
For-
god!
Fourth stage, maybe. Yeah, fourth stage. Fourth or fifth stage.
That is.
What? I still remember this stuff.
Okay, what's stage 4?
No, I mean that was in a video.
Oh, okay. Okay, you remember the stage from watching a video. You played it too much.
I played
okay,
Toho, I think 9, Mountain of Yokai. A lot.
Let's see something. And those games were easier on an arcade machine. I can't play shit these days with bullet hell
Toho
games.
is exclusive, PC exclusive.
Yeah, but those games, games like this.
You mean those kind of games?
Yeah, those kind of games. For me personally, are much easier to play with a real arcade stick. That's the reason why I want to have an arcade stick one day again, because if I can use my whole hand and arm, it's much easier to steer through stuff like that. I mean, doing that with the thumb is just not the same.
Again, you can just install a demo of the game that I just linked. I mean Toho 17. It has more than one level. It's pretty good.
Really best. I'm not sure if I see. Okay.
Willy Beast and Weakest Creature.
Sure if I'm logged in, but I can search for this now. Or not. Ah, there. Demo. Yeah, sure. I'm giving it a shot. Wait, what?
Yeah, there's 2 pages that link to the one thing.
Oh, there's a demo. Sure, I tried it. I give it a shot. I will suck hard at it, but so much for retro gaming. Actually, about retro gaming, I think I have No? Okay, moment of silence for the old library. We miss you so much. Anyway. I have a category for that called Shmup for shoot 'em ups. I only have 84 shoot 'em up and bullet hell games, so not that much. What?
It's actually bigger than my collection.
Why is it showing me the favorites? I so hate the new library. I hate it so much. Okay, I'm here. Not, see, why doesn't it open it on the left side? Son of a bitch. Yeah, I have quite some. And I have a few good ones, but I'm not good in them. Like Crimson Clover and Danmaku. Those are really good bullet.
Danmaku actually means bullet hell.
Danmaku is okay, that's cool. I also have games like this. This is Toho style.
I think, yeah, that's the free game. It's not just Toho style. It's a shameless ripoff.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it even looks a bit like it. From the shots going out to the side in area way.
It's not just like it. It's exact copies of several spell cards.
Okay.
And the characters actually also exact copy from Toho. Not they don't look like, well, maybe that cat girl, she kind of mishmash of two different Toho characters, but I mean the way they shoot and the way they move.
Yeah, another one that is a bit newer is UP Shooting Dangerous. Also one of those games. They have
Can we go back to
yeah,
Zidum
sure.
and the GDX?
Those games often look like newer games from bullet hell games, for example, or platformers, do look like older games because they want to be on that retro train. So even new games.
I mean, just look at Toho.
Yeah.
Toho 17 released this year.
7.
Then still drawing it like Toho 6.
Yeah.
No, like Toho 3 or 4.
Pretty much any game that comes out with pixel art these days is also a game that is kinda retro inspired. But okay, let's go back to emulation and stuff like that. For the PC, there are a few different things that's not really emulating, but it is bringing old games into the future. Like new editions or upgrades for engines for old games, like Doom, for example. Hey OCB, welcome, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi OCB.
There's
Like
also
Zidum.
Escape from Tarkov.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, let's open that. So, kids, if you don't know, there was a game once called Doom.
One of the most influential games of its time. Have more installations than Windows. The only game that has more installations than Windows.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that's your stage now.
Basically, Zidum is a source port of the original Doom game. You can take Doom 1 watt, Doom 2 watt, drop it into JZ Doom, for example, and play cool, good game from the past with original, with modern stuff like looking up and down, looking with your mouse, for example.
And it looks
Better
really
sprites,
nice.
high resolution. It's actually one of the, I think those from mods.
That looks really, really awesome, and it this picture shows you that it supports 16:9 resolution now as well, which is impossible
Actually,
with the original Doom.
it's possible with 16:10 as well.
Yeah, but back in the day, the original Doom was, I think the maximum
4 by
was,
3.
yeah, but it was 640, 480. Yeah, 4:3. That was, every game was 4:3 back then. Only in arcades it was different. They sometimes had a different resolution because the TV was turned by 90 degrees.
Oh yeah, by the way, also stuff like Z-Doom, JZ-Doom, well, basically Z-Doom family of source ports, they bring into Doom something that wasn't possible. They bring room upon the room. In original Doom engine, level is a flat surface. So even if monsters standing on elevated surface, game still treat it like it's a flat surface. You can't have two different objects, one on top of another. But Z-Doom bring into original Doom the same thing that was made in build engine. So you can build a room upon the room. You can now, with this stuff, you can, well, basically, Z-Doom is heavily modified in Tech 1. So most of the new mods and most of the new map packs used possibilities of those modern source ports because, well, it's obviously they are superior than playing into on original source engine. But if you, let's say, purist, you can to untoggle, unbind the jump button. You can lock. Well, you can turn off that looking up and down, and you can make it as pixelated as you want. You can even change lighting.
Had to change something.
Basically, the same thing can be told about stuff like build GDX. Can you open it?
Yeah,
I
I'm trying.
tried, but
Yeah, I'm trying to. The Duke 4 page is not reacting.
yeah, okay, that mean and blood and stuff.
Yep, let's do that.
So if you own blood, 1 unit whole blood, you don't need to buy fresh supply to enjoy original blood with modern tech. You can just use stuff like build GDX or end blood. Those stuff will allow you to play with, let's say, quality of life improvement. So voxel graphics, what was that? Mouse aiming, smoother textures, better color palette, and stuff like that. But also stuff like fresh supply exists.
Yeah, and it is kind of based around. It shows it here, EDU 32, which is polygon update for the original Duke Nukem 3D. The original Duke Nukem 3D had still sprites as enemies, but you can actually get an HD upgrade where you have polygon enemies. So for those who know the game, just showing the start of it.
Basically voxel graphics as well.
Let's turn that graphics up, there we go. So that's what this engine looks like, and this is the same engine that was used for Iron Fist, which was released a few months ago. That is completely based
You mean Iron Fury?
on this, yeah, Iron Fury. That is based on this original engine, with better effects and stuff like that on different resolutions, but it is the original engine basically.
Build engine.
Yeah, Duke Nukem 3D is definitely a timeless classic. This game it was so awesome back then. It is still a lot of fun to play these days.
Yeah.
The ways you could
I don't know.
change the level, for example, with, I don't know, hitting a switch over there, destroying a building, or things like that. The interactivity in the levels have been insane, and secrets and stuff. As you can see, you have
You know,
full 3D polygon enemies.
you know, I wanted to tell it much later, but since we're talking about Duke Nukem Shadow Warrior and Blood had a more detailed level and better detailed environment than Half-Life. Games degraded in quality of maps and the quality of details after Quake.
Yeah,
People saying that Half-Life really detailed. Well, yes, it's had a lot of details compared to. That time, yeah, that thing going to be a lot later. I mean, that was Shadow Warriors. It's just a little bit of ranting. Half-Life a little bit more has a more detailed environment than Quake, but it's not as detailed as it was with those build engine games.
Yeah, the thing was kinda what I was missing after a while was the interactivity in games, and the games that were based on the Duke engine were all pretty interactive. Like Sin, yeah, it was Sin, was the same. You had a lot of secrets, a lot of different ways where you could get into an area to attack enemies, for example. So you had more choices in those games than in games that came after them. That only changed with Half-Life 2, where the physics was introduced for puzzles and stuff like that. But up until then,
Good.
yeah,
That means that I'm not the only one who thinks that only Half-Life 2 bring games closer to that level.
no, that Half-Life 2 changed definitely a lot, because before that, yeah, you had some kind of physics where you could drop something somewhere, but in Half-Life 2 you had weight to stuff, so it mattered if you were throwing around a cardboard box or a toilet, for example. And I played a lot of multiplayer games, but nothing felt as good as killing somebody with a freaking toilet seat. with the
I
gravity
still
gun,
perform good rocket jumping.
hitting something with the gravity gun and the toilet and killing him was just hilarious. Yeah, rocket jumps and all that, that's all fine and fun, but really ripping off a toilet seat from a toilet and hitting somebody with them, oh my god, that was
Well,
hilarious.
that's the different kind of experience, and it's exclusive to Half-Life.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Garry's Mods as well, but Half-Life. You can see that either in Team Fortress 2, in Counter-Strike, or in any Call of Duty.
Yeah, we were talking about Duke, and you can buy this game still. Oh wait,
But
haha,
not Megaton.
not the version that I'm owning. You cannot buy that anymore. Right, there was something. You can buy the anniversary edition, but not in
Well, it
Germany.
have one additional episode, but you don't have those two additional campaigns for Duke Nukem.
Yeah, but a
Fuck you,
few,
Randy.
yeah, a few things. I don't know what exactly, but a few things are worse in this version than in the one that's taken down. Megaton edition.
Well, basically, Megaton Edition is superior to Anniversary Edition.
You're superior. But yeah, I need to play that again. It is so funny. And we waited 14 years to get a new Duke, and what did they do? They pretty much killed it. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. So, while we're talking about those emulators and stuff, there is problems. Well, we actually mentioned some of them already. That you should basically have an understanding how to tweak your emulator. Because if texture or something are missing, yeah, you can you basically should open up settings and start tweaking them, and maybe fix this problem. Maybe. But that's just technobubble. There is one more thing about emulators. BIOS and ROMs are illegal.
Yeah, the thing is, you can get emulators, which is not a problem, but to run an emulator, the original BIOS of the console you want to emulate. You get all the rest from the emulator, but you do need the BIOS, and the BIOS is never included in a legit emulator. Those who do the emulators the right way, they will not provide you a way to get those BIOSes, because the
Yeah,
BIOS.
of course they won't provide BIOS because they don't want to receive cease and desist.
Exactly. So you need an original console and a way to get the BIOS from it. Yeah, with old consoles, that's kinda hard to do for somebody that doesn't have that technical stuff or the tools needed for that. With newer consoles,
For
it's a bit easier.
anybody who doesn't know how to do this is basically impossible.
Yeah, pretty much. With a few consoles, definitely there is no way to get those. Definitely not the easy way. It is different with the newer consoles, the later generations. But yeah, I'm not sure what is the latest generation that can be emulated on a PC. I think is that
Hmm?
PlayStation 2 or something? Because I'm not sure if the PlayStation 3 or the original Xbox can be emulated. I'm not sure about
I
that.
think original Xbox you can emulate, but PlayStation 3 is really raw, but I don't know about Xbox 360.
It seems there is one. Seems it came out 2018. Okay. Yeah, one reason to get into emulating consoles is a way to play exclusive games. Because I had a
And
few.
PlayStation have a lot of exclusive games like Persona series
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
shown.
I had the original PlayStations, but I I never owned a PlayStation 3, for example, but there's a PlayStation emulator. Okay, the alpha
I
came
know
out this year.
that people who created PCSX started working on PCSX3 after they finished PCSX2. But I don't know about the progress of its development right now.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it seems like there was one this year. There was also one 2015, which was not really just an emulator. I think it was a keylogger or something as well. Something like that. It's too much text right now. Anyway, so you can get not the latest or not the actual generation, but up to the last generation you can pretty much emulate most consoles. But yeah, for a few consoles it will take a long time because the power of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 is already really, really insane, and to be able to emulate that power on actual hardware would be possible, I think. Not in
It's
playable
not
frame rates.
that like it's that much of a problem. It's just eh, how it's working. For example, PlayStation 3 didn't have a graphics core. It had all calculations run with the CPU. So biggest problem with PS3 emulator was to make it well, to make it use not only CPU power but also a graphics card power.
But didn't 3 had an ATI graphics card like the Xbox 3?
Nope, only the processor. They had 8-core processor
Huh.
with dedicated cores for graphic.
Remember that, but I wasn't really that much into PlayStation anyway. No, it used an Nvidia graphics card.
It actually used?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they actually
Nvidia,
included that
really?
because
It was based on the 7800 GTX. That I thought it was ATI. I know that the Xbox uses ATI or AMD now.
they actually started with only with a processor calculation, as far as I know. I do remember that they really bragged about their processor. I think we were talking about ROMs or BIOSes.
Yeah, BIOSes and all kind of stuff emulator day to day. Yes.
Yeah,
It's hard to cut a line when you talk about one thing, but have to explain something else, because getting the BIOS from an Xbox 360 and a PlayStation 3 is definitely easier when you have an original at home than if you would try it with a Super Nintendo or a Sega Mega Drive or something like that. That's the reason why I was looking.
yeah, okay. Also, BIOS is actually an actual intellectual property of those companies.
Yeah. And about ROMs, yeah, we mentioned that earlier. We did an episode about pirating. So if you want to check out more about that, we talk about ROMs in that episode.
Again, fuck you, Nintendo, for not allowing us to make in those things.
Yeah, but there's no company that says, "Oh, you want to emulate our stuff? Hey, wait, here, do it."
Yeah,
Nobody is happy when you want to do that. But I think at one point it should be okay, because if there's no way to get an original console anymore, what the fuck are original games good for, you know? What do I have from a game I can still buy, but I have no way to obtain the console needed to play it actually? I mean, yeah, you can collect those games and say,
Well,
"Ooh,
they
look, I
don't
have
care,
games."
as you can see.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah, but it's just stupid. And we talked about it before the stream. If they would sell original games as ROM versions for those people who want to emulate them for $1, or I don't know, let it be $5 for the original, I don't know, Mortal Kombat or something. Um, I know there are people that would pay that. Same for arcade ROMs, for MAME emulation. If you want to build yourself an arcade cabinet at home with a MAME emulator, theoretically you can use all those arcade machines that used power PC boards and I don't know what. Um, because normally the problem with those ROMs and emulators, um, not really problem because MAME is working since decades. But the games back then were not just a chip or something, it was the whole freaking board that was the whole game. So graphical effects in one game didn't didn't show up in another game that was from same kind, let's say like a bullet hell game or so, because the boards were mostly for one game only. There were some boards where you can take a slot or something and exchange the games, but that started in the 90s somewhere. But the really old games, I think, only could play one. So if there was Frogger on the board, there was Frogger on the board. But yeah, some companies that still exist with the licenses for those games, they could make real money. We saw that earlier. Atlus is selling Persona for the PSP for $200. That's just clever. They know, oh, there's a market, even if it's just a tiny market, but there is a market for that. People want to have that, or
yeah,
either to collect
I
it.
want to have that,
Yeah.
I, but I can't afford that.
Wait, I put it on my list, my good kid list, because I get a gray beard already. I'm turning to Santa, maybe. I don't know. Persona for Lothar.
Any persona will do. Besides 4, I have 4.
Okay, then yeah, actually, I did see not the whole game, but a lot of the playthrough for Persona 5, and it is an interesting game, definitely. Um,
It's freaking Atlas game. Of course, it's an interesting game.
yeah, it's a typical Japanese RPG kind of game. All the real life stuff you can do that was pretty much introduced with Shenmue back then, which I got from Humble Monthly from the last month. I have Shenmue 1 and 2, and I think I will play them again. I did play them on the Dreamcast, but not that much. And not sure.
It's not dragging as much as Shenmue. It's basically more fast-paced.
Yeah, but Shenmue was a game where you could run around in the town and go into stores, do that shit, sit in a cafe, do nothing. Do a duck race, which is insanely hardcore to play and finish. I saw somebody stream it, and I came back 2 hours later. He still didn't finish it, and he
Fuck
was
me.
kind of running the speed run um, area that you have to run. So, but if you get stuck at one point, you already lost. It's like Mafia, like the Mafia race, Mafia 1 race. That's the duck race in freaking Shenmue. And I think you need to do that because you need an item from that guy or something. Stupid
Yeah.
bottle, stay over there.
Well, case in point. And well, emulator as a program is perfectly fine, but obtaining the stuff to run the emulator is basically illegal.
Yeah, there are other things that are stupid like that. In Germany, you're not allowed um, to possess marijuana, but you're allowed to smoke it. It's not it's not forbidden to consume it, but you're not allowed to possess it. So theoretically,
so
if somebody if you're standing in front of a cop and somebody walks past you, puts your joint in your mouth, they cannot do anything against you because you never owned it. That's insane. That's just crazy, but it is what it is. Because yeah, how would you consume it if you don't possess it? But
yeah,
if somebody smashes it in your face, they can't do shit. I mean, anyway, different story.
yeah. So basically, we're going to games. Hooray!
Yeah,
It
why?
only took us 2 hours.
Yeah. Again, the first before we did the first episode, we thought, will we even be able to fill an hour and a half? First episode was what, 2.5, almost 3 hours or so, and I think we didn't
Yeah.
one of those shows with less than 2 hours or so. Most
Oh yeah.
times a lot of times renting.
Actually, talking about the first episode, fuck Epic buy your games on GOG.
Yeah. Um, what I'm not a fan of, you can get Red Dead Redemption 2 now on Epic and in the Rockstar launcher. If you get it in Rockstar launcher, you get more items and stuff. But can I just have it in Steam as well? Because I'm not buying shit on Epic and I'm seriously not starting with Rockstar launcher. And somebody said it is needed now for Rockstar games, but it's not.
Yes.
I started.
For Red Dead Redemption, it's mandatory.
Yeah, okay, yeah, for that. Okay, for new games, I get it. I understand that. But for older games, I think they just run to Steam. I did play a Rockstar game, what it was now.
Actually, well, I told you that I installed Rockstar Launcher earlier today to see the prices for Red Dead Redemption, because you can't see prices for Red Dead Redemption until you install and log in into your Rockstar account.
Yeah,
So basically, I think I have GTA 4 stories from Liberty City installed on my PC right now. I launched that Rockstar launcher and he was like, hey, can I scan your PC for the games to add into your library? And I was like, yeah, okay, sure, you can do that. So I checked the prices. Uh, Rockstar launcher finished the scan and he didn't found it. He said that I have 0 game installed.
yeah. The problem was on my end as well. I think, um, I don't know. I have a handful. As you can see, I have, besides San Andreas, which I'm really pissed now that I didn't get it in the Rockstar launcher because it was free. So, um, I have all the other ones, even with episodes from Liberty City, which I never played. Oh, I did play. When did I play that? I didn't play it much, so don't remember. But those are the 2 DLCs for what was it? What,
GTA 4.
4 for 4? Yeah. But I don't have San Andreas, so now I'm pissed that I didn't get it from the Rockstar launcher because it was free in the Rockstar launcher. Introduce it, but Rockstar launcher didn't find one of my Grand Theft Auto games, not one, because
Well,
it was not installed. Just finds the game.
I have this game installed. He didn't find this game installed.
Okay, but yeah,
So
That's the only thoughts that I have about that.
I think the only game that this launcher can pick up besides Red Dead Redemption 2 is GTA 5.
Check where do I have it. There's one thing I'm happy about. Yeah, that was obvious that there would be an update for that. GOG's Galaxy 2.0. Get it in beta now. You have to sign up to get into the beta, but that takes away all the shit launchers that you have installed. It doesn't.
Like Uplay.
Yeah, you. See, I have no issue with Uplay at all. Zero. I have absolutely no problem with that. Oh, I have to re-sign in. Okay. Anyway, this is scene. It's the wrong. This is my Galaxy launcher. So I have over 2,800 games in all my launchers combined.
Oh,
460 installed.
You actually logged in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Galaxy 2.0. So you have Uplay, Origin, all that kind of shit. Yeah, pretty nice. It's not working fully yet with the friend lists. Friend list, I'm not sure if they changed it. I didn't use it for a while, but friend list used to be only GOG friend list, but it's supposed to include all the friend lists you have. So you only need GOG Galaxy to communicate with all your friends, no matter what they use. If it is Battle.net, Uplay, Steam. So Rockstar Launcher. What were we talking about?
Corsair made a joke about Corsair game launcher, and CD Projekt Red was like, "Hold my beer, I'm actually going to do that."
Hold my beer while I code into the Rockstar Launcher API.
Yeah.
Let's just get slightly around that launch as well, just as we do with the others.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, why should we? Why
I think we
should
promised games.
Yeah, why should we play? Why should we play old games? Why?
You actually shouldn't. Some of them aged really badly.
Play it on your own. How do you say that? On your own discretion. No, not what I want to say. Yeah, never mind. I have no idea how to phrase it right now. Some games make sense to play even 10, 20, or 30 years later. Some games definitely don't. But if you're young and if you want to know, for example, how all the gaming scene that we have today with 20,000 games on Steam and shit like that, how that all began, kinda need to start with some old games. And I think pretty
Actually, there is some old franchises that will never return, like Silent Hill.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, some games did get remakes or reboots. We also had an episode about that. Some games will never get that because licenses are not obtainable because somebody is keeping them. Yeah, and sometimes, yeah, every game that was made by Kojima in the past, that's where those games will stay. In the past, there will be no
New Metal Gear, for example.
yeah, it's just all gone. And wasn't no, he wasn't involved in Silent Hill, right? Was it Kojima?
No, Silent Hill, that was a team of outsiders who was Well, basically that was their last chance to make a game. And they delivered.
Yeah, definitely. Let me keep that running in the background. So yeah, some games just changed gaming as we know it today. So it kind of makes sense to look at a few classics. And I think pretty much every kid these days, and also in the past, started with
Harry?
Super Mario or
Lisa,
some game
What's the matter with you?
of that nature and also of
get it
that
now.
time. Because
I am still
when
alive
you're a
even
little
though
kid,
everyone else
you
is
don't
dead.
care for HD graphics and
I'm not the only
4K
one that's
resolution and
still
all
walking
that shit.
around.
You have no concept of that.
The same as
You
them.
want to enjoy something.
I just
And
hadn't noticed it
I
before.
was 3 or 4
Lisa.
years old when I played Pong, and I had a shit
Stay
ton
by
of
me,
fun
Harry.
with that.
Please.
It was
I'm so scared.
2 black
Help
bars
me.
and a
Save
square.
me from them.
I played, depending on what direction you played, it was either
Harry?
tennis or ice hockey when you played it from front to
That's going to be a good scene right now.
Okay, let's listen. Silent Hill.
Lisa.
Yeah, basically that's one of the reasons why I'm still afraid of Silent Hill. Original Silent Hill. So I guess we can just drop to low Wang right now.
Wait, what was the name of the really strange nurses in Silent Hill? No, without an upper body.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Those legs on legs enemies.
Oh, mannequin monster.
Oh, mannequin. Yeah, right, mannequin.
I think you should be more specific. Silent Hill 2 mannequin monster.
I'm sorry. You're the Silent Hill
mean-
guy, not me.
You mean that red pirate? Yeah, that scene.
Oh, and that's Pyramid Head. Even I know that, and I didn't.
That actually bugged. This scene should look a lot different.
Really?
Yeah. Camera, lightning.
Maybe that's not the right scene to show. I just read what it is.
This actually is that scene, but for some reason, camera, lightning, and the other stuff look drastically different. That's Silent Hill 3. Yeah, I don't think that this scene is related.
Yeah, it's not that what I wanted.
Never mind. It's not the same, but still. It's subtle horror for you. It's not jump scares. Let me see if I actually find scene.
Yeah, there's one. That strange enemy. I was like, what the fuck is that? Alright. Moving on. Next game.
I actually found this scene.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That guy is also strange.
I've got an idea what was that video that you found. I think that was without camera cuts. So, video that you showed up looks like somebody unpinned camera and put it in the direction when we can see how Red Pyramid moving
Ah,
when we
okay.
can't see him.
Ah, okay. That kind of makes sense. Okay, let's go with the Wang!
That's 30 seconds that we are going to use from CV11.
Hey, you make mistake there. Because launching a small nuclear device and barely missing the blast zone, this is why I love games like this. Because any shooter nowadays can have you sit at a gun and mow down 10,000 Nazis or brown people or commies or whatever, but you're never gonna play Call of Duty and say, oh yeah, I nuked a whole valley full of evil ninjas and demonic gorillas, and then came back, saw that some stuff wasn't dead, jumped around them, picked up another nuke, and make the fuckers regret not laying down for the last nuclear strike.
Dying at times here.
Now comes the magic carpet ride. Oh, fuck me fucking sideways, which incidentally is what this section does.
Yeah, that's the old shooters.
That comment is
Look at all
awesome!
these ninjas. This has got to be like twice as many ninjas as they have on the hard mode. Here's another death that happened so fast that my ninja reflexes put me right into the start of the level.
That's
Yeah,
the
we-
hardest
I think
difficulty,
it was
right?
the explodey zombie, but it could
Yeah,
have been the
that's
5
the hardest
ninjas shooting me.
difficulty.
Look, there's 4 giant mama rippers down there. I'm used to 2. That's okay. All my grenades are gone. I'm down to 1 giant ripper, so you know what? I must preserve my honor.
Well, basically, shooters were a lot more fun back then.
Boss time, kids.
Yeah,
We've
and
done
way
the
harder
first
than
episode,
today.
Which is only 4 levels, but don't let that fool you. This snake can be deadly. But Master Ninja that I
Yeah,
am, I
no
survived this fight just
regenerative
fine.
health.
He runs away when he realizes that I'm not here to breach a door
Yep.
and neutralize the enemy
That's one
comm
thing.
systems. I'm here to throw down.
Also, ammo was not really lying around on every corner. The level
But you
design
also
was...
could have a lot of more of those ammos.
Yeah, the level design was also kind of tricky sometimes. I know that I was looking for quite a while in Dark Forces, and the texture was so strange. You had to turn around a little bit to see that there was an opening basically in that wall. But if you looked right on from the front of it, you didn't see it. So yeah, that was kind of tricky.
Interesting.
But yeah, Shadow Warrior, when I try to play the original these days, or Blood, and I think I'm better in Blood than in Shadow Warrior. But Shadow Warrior Classic, I suck so bad, and I played it in the past. I have no idea how I did it. Same with Doom, the original Doom, or the original Quake. I'm better in Quake when I play it today, but the original Doom. But yeah, I
that
really
you
suck in.
haven't played in Brutal Doom.
I have so many Shadow Warriors. Shadow Warrior Classic, 1 and 2, Redux, the fuck. Oh no, okay, that Shadow Warrior and this one is the one. I finished those on hardest difficulty, but I cannot play the original on the regular default difficulty. That's how good I am. Actually, I tried the Redux. Was different resolution stuff, but yeah, can't do it. I suck. I get into the second level or so and then I'm done. Just crazy. The aim of the enemies is insane.
You just need more.
Yeah, AI back then was different than it is today. So enemies were not getting in cover or something like that, but they hit so badass sometimes.
Actually, ninjas kinda getting into the cover. It's not like a Doom level of AI.
Okay, so much for that. What else? We have here. I think I opened that already, but I'm not sure about it.
I don't think so. I put that not so long ago.
Oh, Brutal Doom, yeah. No, I didn't have that. Go fuck yourself! Is the original Doom too easy for you? Here we go! Yeah, as you can see with the effects and graphics, this is not really the original. It's kinda
Well, it's
updated a
still
little bit.
original.
Just a little. Yeah, we still need to try to co-op.
Yeah. A little bit more guns, a little bit more bloodier, tank.
I like
Mighty
what they
Foot.
did with the blood. The blood is awesome in this version.
It's without ketchup mod. Ketchup make it even more gorier.
Yeah, but it looks really nice with the splatter and the blood spray and all. Also that you get something in your face and stuff. That's really cool.
Well, basically, those the reasons why you should play old games, to experience stuff like this.
Yep.
Those things you can't get in modern games. You kinda can get it from recent Doom and Wolfenstein, if you don't count the last two Wolfenstein games. But now, for stuff like this, you should go old school.
Yeah, there are also yeah, go ahead.
Nobody can make blood as it is right as it was made. Nobody will recreate SWAT 4. Nobody will recreate well, about Final Fantasy 9, I'm kinda skeptical because there is a good old school JRPGs, but SWAT 4, Blood, System Shock, Duke Nukem, Doom, Silent Hill, nobody.
Yeah, there are also a few other games that tried a remake but failed with it, and something fails, sales, there will be no other try for a long time, if at all. And one of those games, also I think first and last good game from Peter Molyneux, the guy who killed Fable and other games, Black and White and stuff. Talking a lot.
Well, he also made those games.
Yeah, he made those games, but yeah, he said, I give you that much, and from what he said, you maybe got half of it if you're lucky. But yeah, Populous was...
I never heard any one of his interviews, so I actually quite liked Black and White too.
Yeah, I own Black and... No, I don't have here, but I have that in. Was it still on discs? I'm not sure about that. But Populous was, I think it was his first game. But Black and White is also a game. I'm not sure that there will be any other game like that anytime soon.
Well, it's basically the game when you play literal gods. God.
Yep.
Not many will do this kind of stuff right now.
And you could control a creature and not directly tell it what it should do. AI was supposed to learn and do stuff, but again, some stuff worked really well, some other stuff did not work. You had a leash where you could pull that creature somewhere. Why is there's not one freaking picture of the freaking... Yeah. Depending on how you played, you could see that with your creature. It looked either happy or it looked badass. So the more good stuff you did, the more happy and nice it looked. And the worst stuff you did, it got darker and darker. Like the evil ape, for example, or evil monkey. And yeah, you could help the humans, or you could just kill them, because he needs to eat something. So yeah, that's also a game. There will not be anything like that, I think.
Also, you can't buy this game.
Yep, that's gone. And I'm not sure if that would run on an actual system.
Well, I don't know about Black and White 1, but there is a patches for Black and White 2.
No, it's not out on G. And if you're looking for old games, you go to GOG.com, and if you don't find it there, yeah, your chances might be lower. But if you find a game on GOG, you can be almost 100% sure that it will run on a new system, no matter how old the game is, because that's what GOG does. They optimize the DOS box or whatever, or the game itself. So there should be no game that causes issues on a system. In Steam, when you buy a Steam version of a game, Steam puts out whatever is done when the developer is done with it. GOG has different ways. We talked about it as well, and they're kinda working together with developers of DOSBox or something. And yeah, that gives them more chances to support and update and upgrade older games. Steam is just like, here's the game, take it or leave it. It's not working. Not our problem. Your problem. And sometimes games get bought by a new company and they re-release a game, like Leisure Suit Larry in the Land of the Launching Lizards, the very first one. It includes the original and the VGA version. A few years ago, you could start the VGA version Steam, I think. Now you have to go into your folder, look for the executable, start that, and it's just shit, because they say one thing, you have your money and now. So yeah. And there will also never be another Wing Commander, for example. An awesome game, and if you want to see what's his first name? Shit. Mark! God damn it! Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was playing a main character in Wing Commander, and Wing Commander was awesome back in the day. It was a really, really nice and fun space shooter. A few other games try to copy that, and what's the game that is development since, I don't know, feels like 10 years? Star Citizen. Star Citizen is basically Wing Commander Extreme. Let's just say that. It's the same developer, so. Now he has more money to do more stuff, and I'm not sure if that will come what we all expect it to come. Because it's in the making for a long time now. Not sure if they burn the money or actually... we will see. I'm happy that
they're
it didn't...
still raising money.
Yeah, I'm happy that it didn't buy any ships or anything to support them yet. Because they already have 300 million or something for that game. I think that's the game that has the most funds ever. Destiny was also really insanely expensive, the making, for some reason. Mostly marketing. Okay, anyway. Yeah, if you want to know why we have the games today that we have today, there are a few games.
And why we still love or prefer old games to new games.
Yeah, it depends on the game. Yeah, but there is no other game like Super Mario Brothers 2, for example, or 1, or Donkey Kong Country. I mean, some stuff just works way better in two dimensions than in 3 dimensions. Another game that is in the next version in 2D.
Yeah, well, speaking about something working better back then than going to work now. Cloud dressing from Final Fantasy VII. This PlayStation graphics, it's just... his face was just a block.
Yeah.
With modern graphics, I don't know how they're going to handle the fact that he's a man. Basically, I know that a lot of people hyped for Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I don't. I have a feeling that some of those scenes will not work in updated version.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, sometimes it's a one-to-one remake basically.
No,
No, isn't?
no. Based on they may be talking about that it's going to be one-to-one remake, but no.
Ah,
Some scenes have different directions. Gameplay definitely different.
okay.
I don't know, it is from Final Fantasy 15 or Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core gameplay. And yeah, several events look drastically different than from what I remember.
Okay. Because another game, and we also had that in remakes and remakes in that episode. You can play the original Spyro still. Still is a game that aged relatively well. But if
Not
you
the first one. Control, let's say Spyro 3 may be the weakest of the trilogy, but Spyro 3 Control is really good.
yeah, was not known for having the most precise controls or anything. But it's the same. I mean it the same way like Mario 64. That game will still look good in 20 years from now. It has its own style and it was really awesome back then, but because it had that 3D graphics and all that kind of stuff already, it aged really well, and it might be a good idea to bring that out in a one-by-one reboot. would be actually a really nice idea with graphical
There
effects and
was
stuff.
a remake for Super Mario 64. I think it was for 3DS.
I would. There was a 3D Mario for the 3DS, but the original Zelda was remade from Nintendo 64. That did get a remake that was one by one. Only a few scenes or a few areas have been changed, like the water temple. Iron Boots and the water temple. Doesn't remember that. If you played it.
I did.
Yeah, it was insane. That the water level and bad. They changed that, and they also added a new mode. You had 3D graphics, so that was an awesome remake. But Mario 64, I don't think that was remade. Anyway, Spyro, the remake of Spyro, called Reignited Trilogy, includes all the 3 games that came out in the past. And if you played it back in the past, and if you knew
You
where...
mean all 3 games that came out for PlayStation 1,
Yeah, so if
not
you
PlayStation 2.
if you still remember where secrets have been, they are one by one at exactly the same spot today. They only upgraded the graphics, but the rest, the level design, the item placement, is one by one exactly the same that it used to be. So you can either play the original or you get the remake. Still kinda get that retro vibe, not from the optics, but from the gameplay, the controls, and item placement, stuff like that. It's still not perfect when it comes to controls. They copied that as well, so they didn't make the controls flawless. So
At least the control from Spyro 3, so it's the best that trilogy had.
yeah, I didn't really play that much back then because it was a PlayStation exclusive title. And I didn't buy really that much for the PlayStation. I'm a PC guy since ever. I sold consoles when I was working in retail. I worked for Nintendo and sold a shit ton of Nintendo, like 500,000 in 2 months. In the Christmas sales back then when the Nintendo 64 was released, I sold the N64 in the hundreds. Seriously, I had no consoles to sell anymore. It was empty. I had to tell the people, hey, you have to go in that store. I'm out. Sorry. And people came to me because I knew a shit ton about games. I mean, yeah, there's a reason why I know much about games today because anyway. And I could explain them everything. And when the N64 came out, they still released new games for the Super Nintendo for a year or so. I was still selling Super Nintendo because people said, oh, 3D graphics. Oh, no, I don't want that. I want this. This is all I need. We don't need anything ever. Yeah. I had an N64 a month before release. Get used to it. Oh boy, that was a whole different world of gaming to the other stuff. Compared to PC, yeah, it was still nice. But when you saw it from a console point of view, awesome. Then a PlayStation 2 came with the disc, but the gameplay and the graphics took a while for the PlayStation 2 to take off and be better than the N64. But hey, we are getting to the 3-hour mark.
And we kinda closing up already.
I guess we said it all and more. Kinda
Basically more than all.
went through the script like this and oh, look, a birdie. But that happens almost every time. Kinda hard to just stay online and oh, I have an idea. I'm not talking about that because it's not in the script. Nope. So I'm not sure if I should continue to stream or take a break and stream later because I kinda want to stream. So yeah, what is the conclusion now? I'm not
Conclusion.
I'm not sure.
Chasing original hardware is a stupid idea.
Yeah, I think you cannot really put a conclusion or a line um, below that topic, because some people will always try to get the original stuff because, yeah, it is the original. Some others just cannot afford it and say, hey, you know what, I don't care, I get an emulator. It depends, I guess. It depends how old you are and how you grow up, maybe. Because if I would have kids, my kid would play everything starting from old school low-end consoles compared
What
to
about
stuff.
me, Dad?
You, my son, you already played way too much, and now it's over your bedtime. So we're getting ready here, my son. No, but it really depends. I mean, my parents haven't been really much into gaming. They play my Steam library for the last 10 of for almost 10 years by now, I think, or 8 years maybe. And now they understand why I'm a gamer since ever. But I didn't get a console. I didn't have my own Super Nintendo. I had to get a friend to play with the Super Nintendo. And I did get a PC. The C64 was really, really expensive back then. It was as expensive as you would buy a gaming PC now, a mid-class gaming PC today. That was a C64 back then, and it had 64 kilobyte of RAM. Yeah, it was a whole system. 64 kilobytes. That's why it was called a C64. But it cost 1,500 Deutschmarks back then, which would be 750 euros today, but it was back in the 80s. So yeah. That's the reason why I went into the PC direction. I never really got consoles or anything. I did have the Pong console, and I had another one, but that was basically it. I could play Pitfall and stuff, but if I would have kids, my kids would start maybe even with Pong. I don't know, but they would start with Super Mario and the Super Nintendo, stuff like that. Then at one point the regular old school Game Boy, and then maybe the 3DS. So it would be different for my kid growing up than another kid from somebody who never was a gamer. So they might go in a different direction. So that's also one reason why some people like to play retro games, because they kinda grew up with that through their parents. New Sonic the movie art style. Okay, yeah, definitely looking forward to Sonic, the new Sonic. But
Yeah,
we
still not looking forward to it.
nah,
Maybe for Jim Carrey, but not Sonic.
I don't care for that movie. I mean, Sonic, yay, but I don't need a real life movie. Oh, it might have been a better idea to just make it a animated movie. But
Speaking of movies, do you know that third Conan movie might get another halt because of recent Terminator?
what movie?
Conan 3, Conan the Conqueror, I think.
Another Conan movie?
Yes, with Schwarzenegger.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's different then. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but the last Conan failed really hard, so yeah, without him would be stupid. The same with Terminator. Another Terminator would just not make any sense. This one ends all the story and deletes all the shit that was between this one and the second one. So yeah, all you saw the last few years, there are only 3 Terminator movies now. The rest was just bullshit. It's basically like Borderlands, the pre-sequel, has the name, but it's not a Borderlands game. I tried it for hours and it is not Borderlands. It doesn't feel like it. it looks a bit like it, but it doesn't one bit like it. So I'm happy about the new Terminator. I will watch it either this week or next week. And looking forward to it because it looks really nice. The story was interesting and all, but yeah, some stuff should be the original. It's the same with gaming. With original games, you cannot remake them today because different hardware, different optics, audio, whatever, CRT TV instead of a LCD, stuff like that. Same with movies. The original Terminator will not, you cannot remake that. Or another remake that failed in my eyes because it was nothing like the original Magnum, the new Magnum show. Nobody wanted it because the original is good. You can still watch it today. I mean, it was from the 80s, but it aged well. I mean, so watch the original and that will continue. But with, new generation of viewers, some stuff doesn't need remakes or doesn't need a new version. Play the original, watch the original. Same with the Dune movie from David Lynch. It's the only Dune movie you will ever need, even in 20 years. There's only
Well, maybe if they if they'll make a new Dune movie with Geiger theme.
yeah, but it starts with that. Giga is dead, so he will not design anything anymore. And
Yes, but he still have that concept book they used.
yeah, they still failed with every other Dune afterwards because they were all made for TV or DVD. Kinda nice effects, but I'm a fan of practical effects if they look good. The practical effect is just something you can touch, and some CGI just looks like CGI. But a practical effect will always look like something real. Like in Jurassic Park, the T-Rex, not Terminator.
Alien.
The T-Rex was an original model that was eating that guy in the toilet. It was not CGI. The running T-Rex, that was CGI, but the head, also from the Raptors, those were real models. And it worked. It looked good. Terminator the same. It was stop motion animated. the skeleton of him was stop motion. But it works.
But he was there.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm a fan of Ray Harryhausen, the godfather of stop motion animation for movies. Original King Kong, White Woman. Anyway, totally off in a different direction now. Sometimes the original is better, sometimes it makes sense to hope for a remake, but if you want to have the original look and feel...
Different topic.
No, still back to topic. Sometimes you need the original hardware. It's just not the same. It is fun to play with this on an HD TV, but it is not the same. I streamed Zelda and I will continue to play this on stream, but it does look and feel different than the original. I mean, there's no cartridge in there. That's that's missing. Stuff like that is just missing. Hey, my game is not working. Did you try to blow in it to get dust out of it and stuff? Oh no, I didn't try that. Wait. It works again! Try doing that today. Oh, RoboCop. Oh, don't get me started with that shit. Seriously. Wow.
Well, basically, old games
Ghostbusters!
some kind of thing that can't be recreated. And back then, war never be so much fun. Well, it was more fun back then than right now.
Yeah.
And I think we should end with stuff that I sent to you right now.
with that video?
Yeah.
Okay, can do that. I'm still undecided. I wanted to check something. Okay, still live. Let me go. Oh, I'm definitely streaming. Definitely 100% streaming. She will be live for another hour and not commenting anymore. So I will definitely continue to stream. So yeah, let me grab this here. You can say pretty much whatever you want to say goodbye.
Земли рабочей фабрики крестьянам детям мороженое дали цветы.
You sucker. that could have been just anything.
Well, that was communist propaganda.
Ah yeah, oh no problem. Quite good. See, that's the thing when you have a friend from Russia who is always or is sometimes trolling you. My Russian.
Just sometimes.
Oh, that's how it is. Okay, I see. All right. Goodbye, Dota.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Okay, and I will show this video, then I will say something afterwards, and then I will take a break and continue with a game. I have no idea what, but we will definitely continue for a little bit longer. Okay, so let me show you this outro, and this was the discussional stream with the topic retro gaming, number 6 of our discussional stream podcast thingy. Name might be changed. So we hope you had some fun and maybe got something out of it. That being said, here's outro.